Why, hello YouTube. This is Bela Mage again, and today we're going to have a quick video about the new Spectres. As those of you who've been following along, I didn't actually start a minion build this league. However, several people in our private league did, and I still have eyeballs. So, a bunch of these new Spectres are really good. These have changed the support Spectres, specifically support Spectres, that we have gone with this league. I think these will change for Poison SRS, these will change for Guardian SRS, these will change for most minion builds. So I'd like to go over a few of the new corpses that I think are worth playing with. Alright, so PoEDB has a full list of all of the new corpses. So, important thing to know, there are imperfect versions, regular versions of things, and perfect versions of things. In reality, the imperfect and the normal versions are of everything completely worthless. Ignore them. We don't want them ever. They're useful for one thing, which is the warlock thing that like lets you get a buff against that kind of mob. It's like a warlock tree thing. We don't care about this. This is a video about Spectres. So I want to go over some of the new Spectres that I think are really cool. Let's have a look at them. This one is our old Spectre. This is Pale Sephram. We're just going to start with this guy doesn't get replaced. So when we're talking about new Spectres to use, we're not replacing our Pale Sephram in Poison SRS at all. The reduced action speed, increased damage taken buff that he gives, too good. We're not replacing him. However, our old Spectre, our old second Spectre used to be an Arena Master. I do not believe we are going to be using an Arena Master anymore. This is the Arena Master. The reason we used it was for the 20% increased damage, attack, cast speed, and movement speed. Very good buff. Huge buff. 4-second duration, 12-second cooldown. So it's up 1/3 of the time. Was our best option. Was a very good Spectre. We're going to replace him with this guy who seems actually quite tanky. We have a few people in our private league who have been using him. He rarely, if ever, dies. And at least trade at the time has him quite cheap to buy again. You could easily buy quite a few of these for like just a few chaos, and they very, very rarely die. Very, very rarely die. So hopefully it stays pretty low and we can keep using him. We're going to use him for two reasons. Nearby allies have Onslaught. That is just permanently up. That's already 20% attack, caster, move speed, but with 100% uptime instead of 33%. So it's 3 times as good. And culling Strike, which is insane. So we get cull without having to have a Kingmaker on our Animate Guardians. Free cull. Cull is essentially 10% more damage, or 11, depending on if you do math right or not. But that's insane for any minion build. And Onslaught, this Onslaught also affects you, which is fantastic. So that's just our go-to guy. Perfect Forest Warrior. This is going to be in, I think it should be in every minion build that has support Spectres. This guy's insane. Moving on, we've got some other interesting ones that I would love to play with. This guy is really interesting to me. He casts a Vitality. He also casts Enduring Cry, uses Immortal Call, and shares his endurance charges. So he himself has quite a lot of life. 20 all base resistance, which is respectable, that's fine. Quite a lot of percent life. And the numbers he brings, at least when he's a high level, are quite good. If we go to a level 84, which would be ideal, he does have a 316 life regen on his Vitality, which is amazing. That's fantastic. If we have him, we don't have to run Vitality. Or if we couldn't run Vitality, okay, well now we've got it for free. That's great. Amazing. But this is great. The once every 8 seconds, he will do his Enduring Cry. His Enduring Cry regenerates 40% of his life and grants 3 endurance charges. He's going to share those endurance charges with not just you, but also all your other minions, making them all tankier. amazing dude. Absolutely love this one. He's also got an Immortal Call, which gives him quite a bit of damage reduction. I feel like this guy can't die and will give you maybe not permanent, but definitely quite a good uptime on endurance charges, plus the vitality. Amazing. This one I wasn't able to test at all, but I think might be quite good. This next one casts Grace. Now, Grace is not something we can afford in Poison SRS and not something we use in the Guardian SRS either. However, at least for Poison SRS, most of my gear is hybrid, if not all of my gear is hybrid, because we're always going for suppression anyway. We can only get suppression with evasion bases. We just didn't have quite enough evasion to go Grace, so we usually go Determination. It's better. However, we can go Determination and Grace by just bringing one of these guys. He has a good Grace aura, 4,000 flat evasion, and 30% more evasion. Huge defensive aura. The reason I'm a little more worried about him is he has no resistance to fire and no resistance to cold at base, and only 188% life. So he could be an issue. I don't know if he'll live or not. So this one needs testing. It's also very cheap. If he lives, Grace is amazing. These new Spectres are crazy. I'm 100% here for this league. However, there are three other dudes that are worth mentioning, but I'm questioning whether we need them or not. But ones that I want to bring to people's attention is this guy, the Perfect Meat Sack, which is just an amazing name for a corpse, for a minion. It has very high life. It does nothing. It releases a Caustic Cloud on hit, but the Caustic Cloud doesn't do anything. We don't care. What we do care though is owner's minions have 40% increased maximum life. So this guy's job is just to give increased maximum life to all of your minions, making everything else tankier, making your Animate Guardian tankier, your other Spectres tankier, increasing the life of your Raging Spirits if you happen to be like pop exploding them. He's got 800% on his life, but otherwise he does practically nothing. We don't care about this. We do not care about any of that. He does do some caustic ground damage, which is like an okay number, but not enough to matter. I don't think it's going to matter very much at all, but he will keep everybody else alive really well. So I'm not sure whether he'll be needed or not. Could be worth playing around with. Then we've got these two, which are very interesting. This one I think is only usable by a Guardian. I think Poison SRS Necro is out of luck with this guy. This is the giant turtle from Toda. He is huge. He is also incredibly slow. Incredibly slow. He does give the Determination aura, a stronger version than what we give, and he gives the owner 5% physical mitigation, which is great and all. However, he's basically unusable. You'll never be inside of his aura unless you're a Guardian. Guardians are already running around with Convocation on their left click and the CDR mastery and any other CDR they can get to keep convocating their big fire pocket pox over the top of things all the time. Their Convocation cooldown is very small and it's on left click. That's amazing. This guy's usable for you. His stuff is great. He's got a good amount of life, a great amount of life, good defense, and he has a 4k armor and 30% more armor thing here. So his aura is amazing. So Guardians have an option for getting Determination. Amazing. And then we've got this guy. This guy's a little bit of a question mark for me because his life himself is pretty low. He's only got 60k to begin with, and it's only 146% increase. He also is missing 2 resistances, so I'm a little bit curious about how he lives. I would love if anybody tests this one in like a real world situation, actually uses it and brings it out to things. I would love for you to tell me how it goes. But I got 2 big questions about him. First, he casts Precision, which is great. But more importantly, nearby allies have +10 fortification. That's the same buff the Kingmaker gives. Nearby allies have +10 fortification. So that is actually really good for making us more tanky. My big question about this one, which I just was not able to test. I'm in a private league. We don't even own a Kingmaker yet. I don't have anything in standard, or I would have tested it. But the wording on both of these says nearby allies have +10 fortification. Not 10 fortification, +10. I wonder if you have the Spectre and if you have a Kingmaker, do you get 20 fortification? Because that would be very cool. But I was unable to test that. So again, if anybody does test this, please let me know in the comments if this works, because it could be amazing. All right. Those are the new Spectres I think that you should know about. My personal choice for Poison SRS is going to be Pale Sephirim, and then no Arena Master anymore. Perfect Forest Warrior. So Pale Sephirim, Perfect Forest Warrior, and then I would think about either the Warlord dude for the endurance charges or the Grace dude. My first protocol would be the Grace dude. If he lives, I think it would be better to fit Grace in. That would be my 3 Spectres. If I had all 4, I would just use both of those. And for anyone wondering how to get all 4, I also think we should be changing our builds just for 3 points to grab this Indomitable Army node. So you'll get more tanky minions. Super important. I would now be anointing Death Attunement. These Spectres are way better than any of our past support Spectres. So for this league and for this league only, I think your anoint changes to Death Attunement. If you're any minion build that hasn't already parred there, these support Spectres way too good. You're going to take Death Attunement. Death Attunement will get you a 3rd Spectre, buffing the level of all of your minions until Spectres reach level 25 will give you a 4th Spectre. Excuse me. Suddenly that is worth doing this league. So very exciting with that. Those are all of the minions. I will link the full list in for PoEDB in the description in case you want to look through any of them yourself. That is all. I will see everybody next time. Bye.